archaeological breakthrough. It's a major discovery that redefines ancient life, and it's unraveled by scientists here. We're talking about ancient Egypt. They're always finding something: new temples, new tombs, new mummies. Scientists use advanced technologies to scan the bones of ancient humans in these tombs to attempt to understand their daily lives, what they ate, what their health condition was. This by Joel Day on Express UK. The experts use modern technology on what their daily life was like in ancient Egypt, and in a never before seen study using lasers, X-rays, and infrared tools. Scientists are now able to scrutinize and examine the bones of these mummies to better understand what our ancestors ate, how they lived, what their health condition was. The bones were thought to be between 2,000 to 4,000 years old. They've been analyzed using advanced light source at Berkeley Labs in California. The tests work by subjecting the bones to wavelengths of bright light, frequency of bright light, that explore the chemistry, the structure, and the property of the bones. Mohammed Qasim from Cairo University worked on this study, and he explains that the bones are acting like an archive. They made very thin slices of the femur bones of the legs, which they think will point towards how people lived, what they ate, how good or bad their health was, and general data on their daily lives. The research already revealed a number of details about ancient Egyptians from that time period, and Dr. Qasim explained that more work needs to be mapped to fully detail the picture. Using the chemical analysis technique, they pumped away at the samples with short laser blasts, which freed up small volumes of bone material, and from this material the researchers then used light to determine what elements were present in the samples. Dr. Qasim said, "We found lead, aluminum, and other elements that give us indication of the environment and the toxicity of that time. All that information is stored right in these bones." Some of the ongoing discoveries point that the ancient societies used use of materials we use today, but for different purposes. For example, ancient Egyptians didn't use aluminum in metalworking, but instead the researchers found that they used potassium aluminum. Potassium alum is a chemical compound containing aluminum used to reduce the cloudiness in drinking water. Can you imagine that? You can imagine how cloudy and soil-filled their drinking water was when they used to take it out of their water wells. Now, also scientists used X-rays to study how the collagen of the bones of the mummies compared to that of today's humans. X-rays effective for study collagen in the bones, as when it is shined through, they reveal how well or bad the collagen is preserved, as well as if it's healthy or not. Now, due to the literal ancient nature of these mummies, you can imagine 2,000 to 4,000 years old, the collagen assemblies are not well ordered in bones, and they are as they are in modern times. The mummy samples were brought from over Egypt by scientists from Cairo University. And they're from 4 different dynasties in Egypt: the Middle Kingdom, Second Intermediate, Late Period, and also the Greco-Roman, the last period. That is from 2,000 years ago. Soils from the burial site also were examined to further scientists' understanding of what life might have been like. Again, Dr. Qasim explains that so many factors affect the preservation. One of them is how long the bone has been buried in the soil, also the state of the bone and different types of soil, of course, and also provided to be potential hindrance on the search is the embalmment technique, which was all of these mummies were embalmed. This technique, which mummies were preserved by, the bodies could well have been embalmed by different poplin, different ways, and Dr. Qasim added that there are different qualities of the materials, like the cloth and the resins that they use to embalm them. The soil samples do offer some hope. However, with examinations of their conditions, And this allowed scientists to determine whether the chemical concentrations in the bone samples relating to the individuals they were taken from, what the health diet and the daily lives of these persons were, whether the chemicals were in fact entrenched in the soil and changed the bones over time. Samples were recovered from the desert of Saqqara, the site of the ancient burial sites in Aswan as well, and the site of the ancient city at the bank of the Nile, once known as Swenet. Interesting. One of these scientific articles that I read stated that the embalmment, when they wrapped the bodies and they put in the resin, as for example they did with the burial of Jesus Christ. It was actually a theologian who was explaining this. The embalmment, the wrapping of the body, and then putting all these resins on the cloth. The resins then became something like a cement, and the cloth became solidified after a little while, and that looked like a strong cocoon, like a shell. For some reason, the resins act like a quick drying cement over the. I guess it's like an initial type of a simple tomb-like structure. When it becomes like a solidified cement, it's actually a very tight tomb-like structure on the body. But obviously, these people, the ancients, had a lot of advanced technology that we don't know of, even in embalming, obviously. Now, how many more of these temples and tombs are there that have not been explored yet in the Sahara area? Well, they say that Egypt's Lost Pyramid, they were things that were spotted by satellite imagery. They claim that at least 17 more tombs are buried in the Sahara sands of time. More than 1,000 tombs and 3,000 ancient settlements have been found using this type of technology. Findings that are a major boost to relatively new science of space archaeology, and also ground-penetrating radar. You know, this is amazing what they find, even by people like us, just examining Google Earth. In 2004, they found an asteroid strike southwest Egypt. They went on the spot and they found that yes, it was an asteroid strike that created earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. And then the same thing was done by another archaeologist in Iraq. In 2014, they found from Google Earth another asteroid impact site, and that caused quakes and volcanic eruptions there as well. So, you know, they can find all types of things by these satellite images, and more than 1,000 tombs, 3,000 ancient settlements have been found and yet to be dug up. Amazing. More Indiana Jones stuff for people who want to volunteer or go and, yeah, they do accept volunteers in these digs. I'll leave links below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.